Alright, so let's get it going. I'm sure you've already been able to tell by the title that we are going to talk about the alt-right today. Though, I just finished watching a video Dave Rubin did, and if you don't know who he is the Rubin Report, which is a YouTube channel. He used to be a part of the Young Turks, and then just decided that his ideals didn't fit with theirs, and so he deflected and started his own channel. I like to watch his channel because it really does give me the sort of other side of what, what I really believe in. Because I think it's very, very important to hear all sides. It's what I like to do. It's what I spend my days doing. So here we go. In the video, he explains how the left sees the alt-right as white supremacists, and the right also sees them as a group of loudmouth racists trying to tear apart conservative ideals. He then goes on to say that others, not really specifying who others is, see the alt-right as a grassroots movement trying to push back against an increasing politically correct society. His final judgment being that it's a mixture of all of that, sprinkled with a little bit of, hey, it's the internet, what can you do? He then admits that the alt-right are a bunch of meme makers and trolls, vying for attention from the media and political elite. Basically, it's not a single ideology, but a, quote, loosely linked group of people using the tools of the internet to upset the establishment. Though after confessing that the alt-right does some nasty, hateful things and sends hateful messages, he goes on to talk about Hillary bringing attention to them before realizing that he should probably address the whole white supremacy angle, a section he obviously edited in later. His explanation for the nasty side of the alt-right, wait for it, true racists mixed with a bunch of silly people just trying to get attention. But hey, they have no power, so. They have no power. That was his thing. He actually said, they have no power, so it doesn't matter what the alt-right is doing. I mean, I'll continue talking about that later, but this is something that he actually said. Oh, and by the way, he also said, well, Trump has blacks and Jews and Hispanics working for him, so no way he can be racist, right? Well, the no way he can be racist, that was my thing. He didn't say that, but he did say, Trump has Jews and blacks and Hispanics on his campaign team. So it's not racist. It's not, you can, but if you have brown people working for you, like, okay, we don't have dinner with them. They're not even really like around me per se, but I pay them like not a living wage, because no, they make minimum wage, believe me. So they don't make a living wage, but I pay them to do, they're a commodity, but I'm not racist. Anyway, moving forward. And he also brought up the fact that Hillary has racist supporters too. So Trump can't be racist. His conclusion, wait for it, the regressive left is to blame. Let me just state that I too cannot stand the regressive left, and I think it's a fitting label. They stifle debate and censor things that simply should not be censored, and the gross overuse of words that end in ism is just, it's revolting. When isms are not happening, stop calling things isms. Not everything is sexism or racism or whatever, okay? It's just that. You can't always say everything is an ism, because then when isms happen, then people don't believe you. Yes, people want to touch our hair, whatever. It is what it is. Just tell them no and move on. It's okay. It's not aggressive or microaggressive. It just is what it is. So, all this is true, okay? The regressives are certainly regressive, but to say that the people of the alt-right are doing all of these mean, hateful things because of these people over here is insane. It's insane. His explanation, he goes on to say that the regressives have power, and that's why their regressiveness matters. Is because they have power, because their ideas manifest themselves in policy, like the things that we're seeing on college campuses and things like that. And the alt-right are just a bunch of guys in their basements. I mean, I think he's an intelligent guy, but really, we clearly all live in a bubble. It's insane. So I was asking myself, because I really do watch it with, you know, a critical mind, and I thought, should we really put the blame on regressives? Because maybe we should. I don't like them either. You know, I think that there's something to that. You know, they stifle conversation. Therefore, the alt-right are trying to be as outrageous as possible. That's sort of the thesis of what's happening. But what were the regressives responding to in the first place? I mean, you have to ask that. I mean, I feel like the regressive movement really started to gain steam around the time that internet bullying became an issue in society, right? So there were all these hateful internet memes, hate speech and bullying, and it was from the alt-right. They just weren't called that at the time. But these were the types of people that would get online, hide behind a computer screen because they're scared, and say all the things that they think make them big and strong. Arr. Look at me. I can hide behind it. I can type faster than you. But I digress. Because my point is not to argue the origins of outrage, because we'd probably be having this conversation all day. I'm sure that it goes even further back from that. My point is that the same people who call regressives are regressive themselves. Racism is not progressive. Sticking your fingers in your ears saying, la 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 la, I can't hear you. Oh, here, look at this Hitler meme. That's not progressive. And, I don't know if you've ever tried to have a conversation with these alt-right people, but they are not willing to hear what you have to say. They don't care what you have to say. Their point is to be right about what they have to say. Their point is to further their narrative, to spit out facts and figures rapid fire before you even have a chance to think, to further their narrative. I mean, if you want to talk about the issue of stifling conversation, we have to talk about the alt-right's approach in bullying everybody who doesn't agree with them. If you've ever been in a Twitter beef with someone from the alt-right, they are so quick to call you every name in the book, it's not even funny. How is that a conversation? I don't understand it. So, if you're going to blame regressives, then you need to take a critical look at the alt-right. You can't just say, oh, well, but they just did it because the other people did it first. And now back to you, Mr. Rubin. What you were doing is irresponsible. To justify these clowns by placing the blame on another group is lazy and unintelligent. When you have a platform you do, people listen, and you seem like an authority on the subject. But really what you're doing is lengthening the echo chamber. You're telling these people what they want to hear and deepening the divide that is already in this country. Simply put, you are wrong. When the alt-right goes out into the real world, they are in positions of authority, and they do have power. They are cops and judges. They are senators and guys who run down young black men with their cars. And one group's outrage becomes the other group's fuel. They feed off of each other. So you, sir, stop feeding the trolls.